Hello, everybody. Yes, welcome back. Now, today our topic is very interesting because we're going to talk about how to get good feng shui. Right. Now, before I go into the topic of how to get good feng shui, let me explain a little bit about the background of the feng shui world. I think some of you may be from this industry. Okay, I'm not surprised because nowadays, new graduates of feng shui school is coming out by the thousands, right? Of course, there are some of you, I believe, who are very new to feng shui, doesn't know much about feng shui, but you're interested in getting a good feng shui for your office, factory, house, or whatever, right? Now, there are many schools of feng shui in this world. There are some schools who does not use a compass, right? They come to your house without a compass. They will look around, they will do some prediction for you, or some will introduce you to buy certain lucky items, like maybe you need a piao, maybe you need a chiling, maybe you need a bagua mirror to fend off the bad energies. Maybe there's a dead tree right in front of your house, so they ask you to put a bagua mirror or whatever solution that they have, right? So there are also people who do that. Then there are people who are more spiritual. They use talisman, or maybe they do some kind of Chinese writing, the kind of talisman writing into your house. Maybe they recite some prayers, they burn some joss sticks, right? They are also masters who do that, but they call themselves feng shui masters. Okay. Then there are people who ask you to plant a wealth vase right in front of your porch, put some real gold inside, right? So there are masters who do that as well. Then there are the other type of masters who ask you to bury a lo pan. A lo pan is like the Chinese geomancy compass. They bury one underneath, right in front of your main door. So you'll be walking over that lo pan underneath your main door every day, right? So these are some schools of feng shui who does not use a compass. Then there are people who uses the compass, right? And these compass school also have a very wide variation. Well, there are some school who practice the San He, San Yuan. Then so the way they determine the facing of the house is also very different. Depend what school they come, depend what theory that they use. Some will say the front of the house, some will say the balcony of the condominium, some will say the entrance door of the condominium, some will tell you is the facing of the house is different because the left side of your house is more activities, more yang. So they say this is more yang, so therefore that is your facing. So there are so many theories just on facing alone. Then to add on to the complication, how they take direction. Since they come with a compass, right? Some will take it from the road. Some will take it in front of your house, with their back facing your house. So they face outwards, right? 3 feet away. Some will take it at the floor. They measure the floor. Some measure the door. Some measure at the back of the door. Some measure in the center of the house. They find roughly where is the center of the house, then they measure from there. So you see, just measurement alone, there are so many variations, right? So complicated, right? Isn't it? Now, then you ask one master, he'll tell you, oh, it's a period 7 house. Then you seek a second opinion, he'll tell you, no, it's a period 8 house. So which is correct? Who is right? And everybody claims that he is the master of the trade. So see, this feng shui world today is very, very, very complicated, right? Some people takes a day to finish the feng shui. Some people take 3 days to finish the feng shui. They'll measure everywhere. Some will even measure the wall. Some will measure your fans. So many methods of doing, right? So this becomes a very complicated industry. So what has that got to do with finding a good feng shui house? Okay, now the simple thing made very complicated in the modern industry. Why? Because there are some school who teaches you or their students many methods. So they come like an army with many guns. They have the 8 mansion, they have the flying star, they have the sun he, they have the dragon 8 gate, they have the shen kong da gua. Then it comes with qi men tun jia, just so many things, right? So at the end of the day, I don't know which method they will apply for your house. Okay, maybe it's a mix of everything, I don't know, but it sounds very complicated. So whatever it is, that is the modern scenario today, right? So what I'm going to tell you is that I'm going to tell you from my perspective as a practitioner. So now that you're aware there are many school of thoughts, just for the time being, ignore them and just focus on what I'm going to tell you next. Because what I'm going to tell you next is may be very different from what you used to hear or what you used to read out there, okay? Now what I'm going to tell you next is I'm going to speak it from my experience, my years of consulting experience and feedback from clients, the before and after changes that they experience, okay? So this is what I'm going to share with you. I'm sure because this is what that works. So I'm going to share with you what that works, okay? What that can be proven by real testimonials, all right, real people. Now, feng shui can be divided into many grades. Grade D is the one that is, you call it a failed one, right? It's a bad feng shui. But then there are the C, the B, and the A grades. Now the C grade feng shui are typically house feng shui that gives you some form of good things, but not everyone is experiencing good things. Maybe some is beneficial for certain people, not for some other people. Or maybe they are beneficial in terms of wealth, but maybe they're lacking in terms of harmony in the house, or maybe in terms of sickness. So these are grade C feng shui. Grade B, well, you get a balance of for everybody in all aspects, wealth, in terms of health, maybe relationships, right, descendant lucks and all those things. But it takes a long time to manifest. The grade A is the one that gives you all, but at a quicker rate and a bigger magnitude, a bigger result. That is grade A feng shui. Now, if you are going to buy a house and you're going to spend so much money on that house, would you compromise for a C grade or a B grade? Now, I bet you won't, right? Neither would I. So definitely I will go for grade A. But to find a grade A house, grade A feng shui house, is not an easy task. It takes time. It takes a lot of effort because you got to see many houses in order to find the best, the one that qualifies as a grade A. But if you ask my clients, my personal experience as well, I can tell you, if you get a grade A feng shui house, you will say to me that it's all worth it. It's all worth the time and effort, because you're going to spend so much money on it anyway, right? So how do we find a grade A feng shui house? So now I'm going to talk about grade A feng shui house. I'm not going to talk about grade B, not grade C, right? Forget about it. First step, you need to find a house that matches the environment. Easy theory, but very complicated. Why? Because in feng shui there are two major components. One is called the land formations. Now by land formation I mean, for example, the road. Maybe there's a river, maybe there's a pond, maybe there's a hill, right? Maybe the road flow. So these are part of the land formations. The second important aspect is the direction. You know, we have 360 degrees, right? All round, it's 360 degrees. Meaning you have 360 possibilities of Feng Shui. So which degree is the best? Now, every landform is suitable for certain degrees. Listen, every landform is suitable for certain degrees to get an A grade Feng Shui. Maybe this spot is good for south-facing houses, but it may not be very good for east or west-facing houses, for example. But you move to another spot, maybe that spot, the second spot, is better for southwest houses. See? So if you understand this theory, you agree with me on this theory, then you will understand in this world, everybody is recommending that you buy a south-facing house because that's a very good Feng Shui house. It's a myth. You can see in Malaysia alone, there are few 100,000 houses facing south. But how many business tycoon, how many CEOs you have are facing south? Tell me. Think about it. Look around your area. Open your eyes. You will agree that not many. Why? And yet they are staying in a south-facing houses. Because the house that they are having in south-facing houses is not a grade A Feng Shui. Simple as that. They're probably grade C, maybe grade B. That's it. Right? So this is the first factor you need to understand. This must match. The land formation and the direction must be a perfect match. Once you get this, you pass level 1. We are not there yet, right? We are still not quite yet into getting a grade A Feng Shui. We still have to go to step number 2. Step number 2 is about distribution. How do you distribute the energy within the property? Whether it's a factory, whether it's your office, whether it's your house. How is it being distributed? Is the distribution effective? So, are you receiving good energy? For example, are the good energy being distributed to you, to your room, to your table, to your office? So if the good energy is distributed to somebody else, then that person will benefit, not you. Right? So after you ensure the distribution is good, you set the formation correctly, the energy is well distributed, and you get the best of the energies, then you still have to go through test number 3. What is test number 3? The energy has to match with you, your personal energy. It's like taking a drug. You know, not all drugs is equally effective for every patient, because some patients, after taking certain drugs, they have reaction to the drug. They may be allergic to the drug. So the same theory applies in Feng Shui. You may get the best energy, but that energy and your personal energy does not match. Then you create a reaction, and that reaction will cause problem to the recipient of the energy. So until and unless you pass all 3 levels of test, only you can say that is a grade A Feng Shui. So if you fail either one, you're not going to get a grade A. Maybe you're going to get a grade B. So it's not easy. It's theory-wise, it's very simple, very straightforward. But to get it done, it's not easy. It takes time. It takes a lot of patience and effort. Most importantly, you need to have the time and patience. Now this is the key to getting grade A Feng Shui. Okay, let me share an example with you. Recently, I was invited to audit a business premise, right, in Malaysia, KL. Now this office is only 1 year old, and before they move into this new office, the two bosses actually had a Feng Shui master to Feng Shui the house. You can tell very clearly the office, the main facade is a little bit angled, right? The door is a little bit angled, so it has definitely been done by a Feng Shui master. So when I checked with them, yes, they confirmed that there was a Feng Shui master invited before to do the thing. But the funny thing is that same company, two bosses, but everything handled by the first boss, the first partner, is very good, but not the second partner. And they don't understand why. But before when they were in the old office, both of them was equally doing well. Now, how come that after they move into this new office 1 year later, the second boss has so much obstacle? Every project they go in, most of them lost. But used to be was fine. But why now? Same business, same product, same customer, same market. Difference is the office is different, location, and now they use different office individually. Because used to be in the old office, they share the same room. But now, because business has grown, so they separated. So each of them has their own office. So when I went in to do the audit, I found out immediately that the second boss is not in the right position. So when I checked with the two bosses, then they told me, yes, true enough, it is this person who sits in this room is always having the problem. You see, you can tell the event from the Feng Shui of the premise, because energy creates results. You get the wrong energy, it creates the wrong result for you. You get the right energy, you create the right result for you. That is the principle of Feng Shui. So what did they miss? Because they did not pass level 3. Because the energy did not match, the energy of the room did not match the second boss. And that is why the second boss had so much obstacles. See? But the first boss is happy because everything matched accordingly. The energy was distributed correctly, the land formations were good, and therefore he enjoyed most of it. Okay? So this is just a case that I want to share with you to demonstrate to you the 3 important criteria. Direction of the property matching the land formation, that's criteria 1. Criteria 2, distribution, how you distribute it within your premise. And thirdly is to match the energy at the personal level, to the person's energy, right? So these 2 must match. Then you can safely call that a grade A Feng Shui. Okay, so I hope I have shared enough with you on how to get a grade A Feng Shui. If you need any more advice or you have questions, you have doubts, feel free to email us from our website. Let us know and we will see where we can help you. Thank you.